This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution, and this afternoon for me, this morning for the gentleman I am interviewing, we are talking with winemaker Rudi Bauer, who is joining us all the way from Quartz Reef down in Central Otago. How are you today, sir?
I'm good, thank you. Good morning or good evening for you, or good afternoon.
Apparently it's quite a dark and cold morning for you down there.
Yes, we're just, obviously we're still in the winter time. And as you know, with your summer equinox, your days are getting shorter, are getting longer now. So we look forward to, another month, and then we're feeling the warmth of spring, so which is very nice.
Lovely, lovely. Well, we're in the heat of summer right now up here, quite the opposite. But for those people unfamiliar with your winery, would you mind explaining what it is you do down in Central Otago?
Okay, we're in Central Otago, which is the most southern region in the world. So we are about 3,000 kilometers away from the Antarctic. So it's kind of, if there's a southerly blast coming, we will feel it. We're also the only interior region within New Zealand, hence we got quite distinct seasons. And Quartz Reef was established in 96 and is a 25-hectare estate in one block, and has been biodynamically farmed and organically farmed since 2007. We're specializing in Pinot Gris, and sparkling wine. A little bit of Grüner Veltliner. Understandably, I'm from Austria, so this is my birthright, so to speak, and Chardonnay. So relatively small portfolio, and our region is relatively small for New Zealand terms. We're about 3.5% of the total production within New Zealand. We are best known for Pinot. Our Pinot production or plantings is about 70 to 75%, so we're quite Pinot-centric, and I guess we got known for our Pinot simply because of the diversity of quality, because we got 4 distinctive subregions, and and a good bunch of people.
Fantastic. Now, would you mind running us through those subregions and what each of them bring to the wines? Okay.
So it's obviously. Ideally, what you want to do is get yourself a map from Central Otago, but obviously we don't have to do it now. So if I start in the west near Queenstown, you arrive in Queenstown, then jump off a bridge, and then you have a good time.
With the bungee jumping, yes,
with I remember that. Take a make sure you take your bungee, and then you drive to Gippsland. Gippsland is very unique. Gippsland is a very, very tiny subregion, but it makes this beautiful I describe the when you're on the piano, it's more the lower keys on the piano. It's got this nice, beautiful, earthy, rich flavors that makes it quite unique. It's slightly cooler than the other ones, also more rainfall, and pretty stunning. Then you come to Cromwell or Lake Dunstan. And around Lake Dunstan, and including Bendigo to the north and Bannockburn to the south, is about the hub or the engine or the heart of our region, where it's 80% of the production is happening around Lake Dunstan. And the place in the middle, so to speak, the focal point is then Cromwell. And to south of Cromwell, we're only talking about 2 or 3 k's. You got Bannockburn and Kenmure. Then you got Cromwell itself, and then you go a little bit north and you reach the lake shores. That you got then Lowburn and Pisa on the west side of the lake. On the east side, you got Northburn and Bendigo, so where we are. And then in the north, you got Wanaka on Lake Wanaka, and then to the east, you got Alexandra. So we keep on going back now to Cromwell. When you come to, Bannockburn, they make this very beautiful, stunning, I call this velvety, it's just very beautiful velvety tannins. Overall, please understand that our biggest forte in Central Otago is this really distinctive, pure definition of Pinot Noir fruit. It's quite unique to us. And then you go from Cromwell to Lowburn, where you got this nice play between the beautiful crunchy cherry fruits more in the red fruits. Again, just effectively very delightful Pinots, and they're quite. I find them quite. I use the term. There's an agility to it because they're super friendly. Then they go across the lake and come to Bendigo, where we got an interesting play with very structural tannins. Again, this is directly related, not obviously to, we have a little bit more sunshine, being very northerly exposed and relatively warm. So the tannins play quite a feature for us. Then you come to Wanaka. I can tell you some wineries if you want to, but you just have to let me know. And you come to Wanaka, Lake Wanaka, and Wanaka sub-region. I really love this extraordinary clarity of acidity. They're very nice, very nice. I don't know. There's a vibrant acidity which is also very attractive. And then come to Alexandra, to the furthest of the east. Is what I was right profound is they got this intriguing, beautiful perfumed aromatics. Very interesting, just strong on aromatics and very complex. I hope that explains it to you.
Yes. And I'm interested as to the variation in soil structures and soil types across those four regions.
Yeah, okay. So our region, as you know, New Zealand is extremely young. We're only 65 million years old. And as I'm sure, as you know, we're also a continent, Zealandia. So our main soils are basically either alluvial derived or glacial derived. And then on top of it, you also got the influence of loess blown silt. So we got this nice silty clay loam soils, and then of some of them, you know, obviously schist is very strong. Is effective with the schist and quartz is really the features in regarding from a rock point of view. In many cases, the mother soil is grauwacke, which is effective, as you know, quite similar to the ones we got on the Mosel. And then the soils depends where if they have over the past more abundance of water or not, you have a different profile in the soil depths and also in form of the organic matter. What makes the biggest influence, I guess, is the shape of the region with the mountains. The mountains are very high. The Pisa range is 2,000 meters high. So this actually, from a grape growing point of view, quite high. The sea level is we're above 200, between 200 meters and 400 meters sea level where we grow our fruit, and sometimes even up to 450.
Right.
So you can see it's more like I guess when you see pictures, you will see lots of mountains and hills and lakes around it. So this is quite that part. But ultimately, our soils are still very young, and this is why it's the whole term of including. I use the term getting soil fitness, because they hardly had any work, because we unfortunately got this problem in New Zealand with the rabbits.
Oh yes, I've witnessed that down in Otago as well. Yes.
Yeah, and so the whole notion of actual fact of try to farm organically is a very important part for all of us in the region in order to increase what I use soil dynamics and soil vitality. So there's still you know a long way to go, but ultimately the vine itself is quite stimulating the soil in the first place.
So this ties directly into your biodynamic agriculture, of course.
Yes, and also our region is we at the moment we're about, I think 23% is fully certified or in conversion of organics or biodynamics. For New Zealand standards, this is pretty high. The New Zealand average at the moment sits on 7%, which also, you know, it's pretty good, and it's growing quite strongly throughout New Zealand. So there's a very nice push from New Zealand wine growers to bring in more support and stimulation for wine growers to go down that track. And of course, the biggest issue, of course, with climate change, which is also a positive step towards it.
Is that something that you have witnessed in your region?
Yes, we do. Thanks God, not to such extremes we had in other regions, but we do know now if there's an event, it's far more severe as it used to be in the past.
Yes.
And as I guess the same goes for you. And so we need to find, we need to prepare ourselves as much as we can. And of course, it's possible, but you just never know.
I understand. You also mentioned that you make method traditional sparkling wines down there.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that story.
Well, it's an intriguing story, simply because, Jamie, when I saw the land in Bendigo in 1990, and there was only vineyard planted in Wanaka, Gippsland, and Alexandra, and nothing else. There wasn't not even the lake there, because Lake Dunton is a new lake for a power station down south, and I wasn't sure if Pinot Noir extra effect will work in Bendigo. So then, as you know, with Pinot Noir having the flexibility for sparkling wine. So sparkling wine was basically an option of, if plan A doesn't work, then you still got plan B.
Yeah.
Because you have to be very mindful that, because you want it to work. And it turned out that both the sparkling wine and Pinot Noir have been very successful. Hence, we doubled our land holdings. And now sparkling wine is, I guess, it brings a unique character again of what I call, the clarity of acidity, and quite focused. So that is a unique contribution to New Zealand sparkling wine portfolio, because extra effect, it is a very much cool climate.
Yes.
And quite distinct on that one.
And
then
also,
obviously,
sorry.
Yeah, keep going. No, you go.
You also mentioned Gruner Veltliner, which I thought was kind of amusing, because a few paragraphs later, you mentioned the low soil that you have there. So quite a natural fit.
Well, it is, yes. I don't think, Jamie, I need still a lot of experience. So we're making have made wine since the last 11 years. And unfortunately, I only managed to make 3 vintages, which I'm comfortable with.
Okay.
And the rest is still coming back to, I guess, what I call, growing pains to learn how to understand the variety in New Zealand.
Yes.
It's not much different in order to understand Pinot, but still, I'm quite intrigued that it took me such a long time to handle it well, making mistakes either in the vineyard or either in the winery. So it's quite weird. But anyway, that's okay.
I'd be curious as to the biggest challenges making Gruner down in Central Otago.
Well, I guess my biggest challenge is if it gets too overripe, which can happen, then in actual fact it has this kind of flavors, like it reminds you more of Sauvignon Blanc than anything else.
Yes, yeah.
So that doesn't make sense, well, you don't want that. And then I had 3 or 4 times the natural ferment stopped at between 8 and 10 grams of residual sugar, which I'm not in favor of it, because it's just too sweet.
Yeah, agreed.
So that didn't go down well. And then a couple of other times, effectively, I ran into it because of partly of small volume. When you do your press regime, I got too many phenols in there, and again, it doesn't really fit. But I guess my challenge is it has to be perfect, because after all I can't afford to show a Gruner Veltliner, which is I'm not typical for my terms.
Yeah.
So the request to make a decent one is quite high. So it's kind of, yeah.
Interesting.
We'll get there.
Well, Rudi, thank you very much for joining us at Good Food Revolution today, giving us an overview of what you're up to down in your part of the world. And we look forward to catching up with you sometime soon. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You take
Bye
good care. Bye.